So where are you from? That's a question I got asked a lot. Are you Chinese? No, I'm not Chinese. Are you Japanese then? No, I'm not Japanese. Oh, so where are you from then? Korea. Where is that? That's what I would get asked when I was young. But today, everyone knows where Korea is. The Hallyu movement, the wave of Korean culture has circumnavigated the globe here in the United States as well. We've all heard of K-pop, K-drama, K-food, K-beauty products. But as I was on vacation, I'm actually on vacation right now. I was reading this book, The Magical Language of Others by E.J. Koh. And this is something I've been thinking about for a while as well, even before I read this book, the idea of K-resilience. And once again, this is something that can only happen when you know your own story. So in The Magical Language of Others by E.J. Koh, she actually is able to articulate her own story. She knows her story. She knows the story of her parents, her mom especially, and then she also knows the story of her grandparents, grandma, and on both sides of the family. And it definitely is a story of resilience. And so when we think about Korea, man, in just the last 100 years, they've gone through so much from 1910 to 1945, being a colonized country, experiencing great oppression. If you look at these stories, there's so many stories of pain and suffering, and through that, of course, resilience. And then after the period of colonization, the Korean War from the early 1950s to 1953. My parents, both survivors of the Korean War, but a lot of Koreans in Korea had lost their lives, about 10% of the population, and many lived in dire poverty for many, many years afterwards. In fact, although today Korea is one of the wealthiest nations in the world, top 15 GDP for sure, at this time they may have been one of the poorest nations in the world. So just in the last 70 years, you could see this remarkable transformation in Korea. Story of K-resilience, right? But if you didn't know the story, then it'd be hard to tap into that resilience. And then, of course, the Korean-American story. So there's the Korean story and then the Korean-American story, the migration of many, many Koreans to the United States of America, becoming Americans, Korean Americans. So this makes an amazing American story, a story like many others, but also a story like no other as well. But oftentimes, these are stories, once again, that have not been shared with the children. So whether it's the language barrier or cultural barrier or just the busyness of life, or not wanting to talk about discrimination and racism that might have been experienced, really it's a missed opportunity for K-resilience, the opportunity for the next generation to have the opportunity to learn their story and know their story and have the story told to them so they could pass it on to the next generation and have it be for them. Yes, are some of these points in the story painful? Yes, it may be. But when processed well, it gives an opportunity for strength and resilience to face obstacles ahead. This is Dr. Jeff from Ed Family, signing out.